Hi, it's Deb Lang here again with Cyndi Wilkins, and Cyndi's a muscular therapist. So it was really interesting when she was telling me how she was reading the book, Trust Your Senses, and she works with the body, and she's going to share a little bit about that in a minute, but how in fact reading the book has encouraged her to expand to sense more things when she's with her clients, and seeing how that can even help produce an even better result. So Cyndi, just tell us a little bit about the work you do as a muscular therapist.
Well, thank you, Deb. Actually, it's a very, very unique opportunity that I have to work with people because I have a hands-on experience with them as well. Mm-hmm. Speaking with them oftentimes happens just at the beginning of the session. And then, during the session, oftentimes there isn't a lot of exchange of conversation. So I have to trust my own senses and their bodies to guide me as to where the problem areas are in their bodies. So oftentimes it is the soft tissue that is speaking to me and not necessarily the person themselves. Mm-hmm. The interesting piece that has kind of come into play for me with much more clarity is when I am working with people, and generally most of the time people, when they're coming to you as a manual therapist, they're having some sort of a physical issue, an injury recovery, something of that nature where they're looking for pain relief. But oftentimes people just come in just to be nurtured and cared for. And I find that when I give them the space to just be and have their experience, and I am silent and quiet, and I'm not asking all these questions, is that right here? Is too much pressure there? I let them be and communicate to me. They start to communicate back to me about things that come up for them that might not have anything to do with the session at all. There are memories that come up for them, and they will oftentimes make it verbal. Sometimes it might be a laughter, or somebody might start with some tears. And I will find that what I'm tapping into is an emotion and energy that someone has buried. And oftentimes they will say to me, I cannot believe I am thinking of this. I haven't thought of this in years, and they'll just go on talking while I'm working on this area. And oftentimes it's a very, very painful area for them, a very chronically painful area for them. And the longer that we work on it, and I encourage them to speak about it or just think about it when I'm working on them, if they don't want to verbally share with me what the memory of the experience is, and that's okay too. The point is they're focused on it in their own senses, and they're giving it permission to come up in their body and to let it go. And more people are finding that it's more than just a physical release, it's an emotional release. It's an incredible emotional release. And I will have people come in regularly and say to me, my body missed you while you were on vacation, or, while I, couldn't see you over those couple of weeks or whatever it was. Our bodies become accustomed to being cared for and being nurtured, and they respond to that in a very positive way. So I always tell people, you take care of your body and it will take care of you. And a way to do that is to take care of yourself emotionally and mentally too. Because when you don't do that, when you don't recognize your emotions and your feelings, and you tuck them away in your body, they will eventually, over a period of time, rear their ugly heads for you to pay attention. They will get your notice in one way or another.
Yeah, they sure do. It's just great validation of that whatever we do, whatever emotion is unresolved in life. I mean, obviously we also have happiness stored in our body. We have, but we also might have sadness or grief or anger or resentment or whatever. But, with all of the pain that people have and all of the stress that people have, and people not being taught how to release emotions that limit us, because when we are hanging on to anger or resentment, we are literally like trying to control ourselves, and that takes energy, and then we wonder why we're tired, you know. So, but then also, often people don't know how to express happiness or joy either. So you have relationships fail because someone literally couldn't express their love or express their appreciation, once again through control. So it's just, you know, the affirmation of there's a whole, I still think we're still at the tip of learning about our bodies and the memory being stored and how to, you know, release that, how to understand it, what messages are coming through. Because I think like that tension's telling us to do something for our well-being. It's telling us release for well-being. But we haven't learned how to pay attention to it. We've just been we've been in the control mode rather than the, oh, what can I do here? My body's telling me I need to do something. So great work that you're doing, Cyndi. It's really
Thank
great.
you. Thank you.
And thanks again. And I look forward to another conversation about how else you're using the book and how it's affecting your life. That's awesome. So
Absolutely.